You guys ready? Okay. Does anyone here know anything about epilepsy? I'm not asking, I'm just gonna... Okay, no. Do you know what to do if the person sitting right next to you has a seizure right now? That's what I thought. Do you know one of the several warning signs that we have when you see someone going into seizure mode? And do you know your steps in first aid when someone is on the ground having a seizure? So if I was asked these questions years ago, my answer would most likely be no. But then I would have asked myself, what is epilepsy? I've never heard of it, ever. You don't hear that word in society, ever. And you don't know how it affects people because no one asks. And when you do have epilepsy, no one wants to talk about it, which is why you don't hear about it. I'm here today to tell everyone who has epilepsy that it's okay, guys, it's okay. You're not alone. I'm one of you guys. And we just have epilepsy, nothing we can't overcome. You know why? Because we are strong. Hi everyone, my name is Cheryl Mendes, and I was diagnosed with absence seizures in my early 20s. And then when I hit my 30s, where is she sitting? I'm sorry. I was actually diagnosed with grand mal. I'm using that word, I'm sorry, that's my word. I was diagnosed with grand mal seizures. Thankfully, December of 2018, I was taken off the surgery wait list because I have been seizure-free for a little over a year and a half, and that's because I'm an epilepsy survivor. I was once asked a question in 2015 at a Toastmasters session at my current place of work. And the question I was asked was, if I could go back 10 years from now, what would I tell myself? And yes, people tell themselves many things when they want to go back, but my answer to myself at that time was to be more confident in myself. And I say this because I was aware of the decline in my happiness over the years. The Cheryl that I am today, speaking up about epilepsy, is not the same person I used to be before. Oh, I'm so sorry. Epilepsy at that time when I was first diagnosed was a word I've never heard of until the doctor diagnosed me. I did make him redo the test to prove me wrong, and he proved himself wrong. So he diagnosed me with having absence seizures. And all I did after I got his answer was I went home and, like a crazy person, sat in front of my computer and researched the hell out of it. I knew nothing about it. But all that led me to feel was embarrassed, judged, and scared. And I'm saying judged again because I knew that if someone knew that I had epilepsy, they would definitely judge me, no questions asked. But how do you live a life like that? You tell me. I did, but it's not easy. When I was first diagnosed with having epilepsy, it was, yes, the biggest shock of my life. I felt as though my world was ruined, and everything that I had planned for myself was now falling into like a million little pieces all over around me. And finding out about my health was crazy alone, but at stages in my life, I lost my job at one point when they found out I had epilepsy. No, I did not go after them because that's not me. I lost my license, which was the biggest shock of my life. And you can ask Rosie. I complained about it for many years with her. And, sorry, just give me 1 second. Dating was just hell for me because every time I had to explain why I was wearing one of these little babies on my wrist, my gosh, the answer I got was, okay, catch you later, bye. I used to always think, hey, what's next? Bring it on. You know, there's nothing I can't handle right now at this point in my life. I was miserable. And everyone in my life was just bothering the hell out of it. They're just bothering me pretty much. They were just bothering me. Suicide, gosh, that was always like right there on my mind, you know, every day. It's like never left me alone. It was always there. Should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it? Did I do it? That's another question. Yes, I did try it. I tried it twice, to be honest. Did it work? No, I'm still here. Am I not? But if you think suicide will really help you, you're just hurting yourself and all the loved ones in your life because they will be the ones dealing with your actions. After living with epilepsy for a few years at that time, I came to realize that this is not the real Cheryl that I was happy with, actually. This is not the Cheryl that I was happy with. I could care less what other people were happy with about me. And what really knocked some sense into me was losing things in my life that were very important to me and ruining other people's moods around me. And you can tell that their moods were ruined because they could see it on my face that my mood was gone. So what do you do, guys, when you come to this point in your life? You get back into the driver's seat. Yes, I don't have a license, but you get back into that driver's seat. And you take charge of your life. You take charge of your life. Oh, you don't see it anymore. When I was in the epilepsy monitoring unit, May 2014, undergoing my testing, my 2-week testing, I did meet a volunteer there who told me about Epilepsy Toronto, who I had no idea that even existed. Nothing about epilepsy organizations. Did not know Rosie. And after I was discharged from the hospital after the 2 weeks, it took me some time to actually realize, did I want to contact Epilepsy Toronto and get further help? I did. I was just scared. But I did contact a young, pretty lady there, Rosie. That was you. And after a few meetings with you, I was introduced to other people like myself, where I actually got out of my little bubble, and I saw that I was not the only one out there suffering. I won't even say suffering. I was not the only one out there that has epilepsy. I'm going to use that. That sounds a lot better. I was not the only one out there. There was others out there like me, and I was finally happy to see them because you really cannot see what's behind a person. You cannot tell who has what these days. So I was more than happy. My gosh, our group sessions every Tuesday was awesome. I had fun. And on top of that, Epilepsy Toronto kept me up to date on the meds when we had shortages. They kept me up to date on how I can best help myself. In general, they helped me in numerous ways, more ways than one, and I was happy. I was finally happy with myself. The Cheryl that was once embarrassed, scared, and frustrated was now happy and more confident in herself. And although epilepsy will be constantly on my mind, and it is sometimes, not as much as before, I don't care what people think about me. I really don't. Nor will I ever be ashamed, because I've learned to speak up, speak out, and share my story with you all today. I came to realize that my seizures were controlled with medication I now had to take for the rest of my life. Not a problem, 10 pills a day. But they were controlled. But I knew my triggers. It was stress. It was mainly stress related, and not work stress related, people stress related. How people deal with me, how they talk to me, and how I respond to them. And I had to take the rest of my, knowing that I was lucky in that sense made me realize that epilepsy couldn't stop me from pursuing everything that I ever wanted and all my goals and all my dreams and everything I want. It's not going to stop me. It just put me to a halt at one point in my life, but that's it. I got back into the driver's seat and I'm continuing to drive on. And like Eleanor Roosevelt once said, you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face and you are able to say to yourself, I have lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along. So epilepsy, bring it on. I'm ready for you.